If you're like me, you've probably spent an enormous amount of time dissecting the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree gameplay reveal trailer that came out a couple days ago. So in this video, I'd like to break it down frame by frame and kind of share my thoughts and analyses and theories and hypotheses with you guys. And at the end of this, I'd love to hear your theories and hypotheses. So one of the first things I'd like to bring up is people are complaining about the $40 price tag. Obviously, things are inflated right now, and we know from past experience that FromSoftware packed some of their most spectacular content into these DLCs. Seems like some are disappointed with Miyazaki's answer to the size of the DLC, where he said it's somewhat larger than Limgrave. I personally think he's probably underselling the size and/or something got lost in translation there with the multiple interviews that he underwent. Also, think about Limgrave. There are probably about 30 something bosses, field bosses, and otherwise dungeons, catacombs, caves, and underground sections. So I'm sure this new land will have all that, and the trailer seems to support that theory. From Software has stated that this DLC is their most ambitious expansion. So personally, I think we don't have anything to worry about. And according to Miyazaki, the DLC will transport us to a completely new area and map. The Elden Ring website also states that there will now be seamless transition from dungeon to field, and I'm wondering if that will translate into the base game as well. As far as DLC difficulty, it's expected to be endgame difficulty, and Miyazaki stated that there will be optional bosses, much like Millennia, and it has been said there will be 10 new boss fights. My assumption is that these are proper bosses, and most likely there will be a number of other field bosses. There will also be 8 new weapon categories, which is about 25% increase over the 31 existing ones already, which is absolutely insane. Also, there's talk of gaining new powers, which is vague. I'm not exactly sure what that means. It could mean new Ashes of War, new powers from Great Runes, or something entirely new to shake up the gameplay. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So, now to kind of break things down frame by frame here. In the first frame, we see our character and Torrent travel the road that Mikola traveled, littered with graves. And then we see a shot of what looks like a dead or dying tree. Presumably, this is the tree of the Land of Shadows. It almost looks like there's a veil or drapes coming off the tree. The coloration to me looks like it's bathing everything below in Deathblight with that whole blackish, yellowish glow that Deathblight has. I feel like with the whole theme of shadow, there may potentially be a lot of Deathblight here. Now, someone also said that this almost resembled the Halleck tree, and I don't think that's the case, but it very well could be, considering Mikola is, this whole DLC is revolving around Mikola. We're being transported into the DLC by touching Mikola's arm in Moog's boss room, so very well could be. How do you guys feel about that? Next shot, we see a new armor set, potentially, and some sort of new symbol that almost looks like a great rune of some sort. Another armor set looks like with fur, kind of like blades set. And another new armor set looks almost like Havel, some sort of real heavy armor and possible relation to pots. What do you guys think? Next one, the character is laying in a bed of flowers in what looks to be like an underground area to me. Next shot is a throne room with a regal NPC and a throne, kind of looking a bit like a young Renala, but that's what everybody's saying. But honestly, to me, it almost looks like obviously the complexion matches, but it looks like a dude to me. Next shot is of our character and Torrent riding through most likely a poisoned swamp. Miyazaki straight up admitted in one of his interviews he enjoys making poison swamps for us all. There will no doubt be more than one of them. There's all dead trees here in the landscape. Yet another reason why I'm thinking there's going to be lots of Deathblight. That'd be some shit if this was actually a Deathblight swamp. The next shot is of a painting that could potentially be Lady Tanith and Rykard, but I think the woman resembles Fia more than anything. So it could be her and her husband. What do you guys think about that? Next shot looks like a good old platforming section. You know this will probably rival the drop down sequence into the Frenzy Flame area in the base game. You heard it here first. I'm calling it right now. Now, I heard a lot of people saying that this shot reminds them of Volcano Manor instantly, but maybe it's some kind of hero's grave. That's kind of what I think. I assume this shot is of the main legacy dungeon of the DLC. It seems like a pretty large fortress that's potentially crumbling on top, and I wonder if the reason for that is because it's near the veil or drapes of that dead or dying tree. We now see most likely another giant fire basket cauldron thing that will potentially barbecue us with fire AoEs from its ground slams. This next frame looks like a cross between a snake and some sort of worm face enemy that is probably gonna cause Deathblight, calling it right now. I think this boss looks crazy good. Seems like some sort of chimera, but appears to have horns and things like that, signifying potentially that it's some sort of omen. Almost looks like some sort of grafted creature as well, with multiple limbs, and spews either Deathblight or some sort of gravel breath beast incantation. Also summons lightning. Looks amazing for a boss. We now get a glimpse at Mesmer the Impaler, who seems to summon blood flame magic. Another shot here of a character using what looks like dual katanas. This looks like another paired weapon set with throwing knives ability. And this shot looks like some new pink colored magic with butterflies and a new NPC that almost to me looks like Roderica. This Tarnish looks like he came out of Mortal Kombat with some crazy new martial art style, Ash of War, potentially. We have a multi firing crossbow or arbalist of some sort in this shot. Some kind of beast roar incantation or something in this frame. This boss is potentially on a boar with a lance enchanted with what looks like gravity magic. To me, this almost signifies like another tree sentinel like boss. In true Elden Ring fashion, watch him be the first thing you come across when you get to the Land of Shadow, much like the Tree Sentinel when you first begin the game. This shot, we see a hippo, crocodile, doggo. Looks like he's going to be fun to fight since he can summon golden spikes AoE in front of him. This frame looks like some kind of skeleton on a half withered mount, throwing some kind of boomerang style scythe or club. Looks to be potentially another underground area. It could also be almost like a skeleton albinaric as well, if it is a club. That would kind of track. Now, my question is with this shot, could this be Godwin pulling a sword or something from his eye? Since this takes place in another land and potentially time frame, I'm not sure if this is him, but with the painting potentially being Fia, it could be a valid hypothesis. What do you guys think? So the trailer culminates showing off some of Mesmer's moves, including an AoE, some sort of twin blade weapon, Mesmer doing some sort of blood flame grab attack, and then our character jumps into the sky with wings that almost resemble the Crucible Knight wings. And finally, we see Mikola standing in front of the dead or dying tree in the Land of Shadows, and it looks almost like he's healing it in some way, shape, or form. But that is going to do it for this breakdown and theory video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I am anxious to see if your feedback and what you guys have to say in the comments. So let's have a discussion below. So stay tuned for plenty more Elden Ring content. The hype train is real. All aboard the hype train for June 21st. We'll have some build videos coming out around the June timeframe and kind of leading up to the release of the DLC. So hopefully you're all doing well. Stay tuned. More coming at you. Take care.